In January 2024, SAFE Worldwide had an extraordinary opportunity to interview a reformed wildlife poacher from the Sankuru province in the Democratic Republic of Congo, the second poorest country in the world. He was responsible for the death of thousands of animals, including great apes and other large mammals, such as elephants and rhinoceroses. The interview explores the motives behind the illegal hunting and the cost to both the hunters and the wild animals. The interview was translated from the local language of Tutela into English.
How did you get started in wildlife trafficking and poaching?
Since my youth, I started with hunting, and it's been since the time of Mobutu. I learned this from my parents, and afterward, I killed many animals. I killed elephants, I killed various monkeys that I sold. Now I don't do that anymore. For the past 5 years, I started agriculture. I started in 1987, so for 36 years.
Can you describe the first time you went hunting in the forest and what it was like for you?
The first time I was taken into the forest, I was with my parents. We set up a bivouac, which is like a small hut, and we stayed there. That's where I saw my parents hunt and start to kill a big monkey. It was at that moment that I saw it was easy to kill them.
Why did you start with becoming a professional poacher and trafficker?
At first, I did it to support my family, but it was a service that also earned me a lot of money. Because the authorities knew I was a hunter, and even with them I collaborated. I can't mention names. And they gave me some money to buy bushmeat so I could profit from it. Everyone knew I was trafficking wildlife, including some of the local authorities. Some of them required that I share in the profits to avoid getting arrested.
Were you alone or with a group of other poachers?
No, a poacher never walks alone. We're always in a group. Often, we would be about 30 in a group, but with others who are many are Mud or Pechod, they were my colleagues from Equator or Chopo who came. And we made a big team and we went into the forest together. Many of them are now dead.
Can you tell us approximately how many animals you think you've killed or hunted over all these years?
It is difficult to say, to identify how much I have killed, even in a year, because sometimes when we would find the elephant tracks, I could kill 60 to 65 elephants in a single night. And then we spend some time to recover the ivory. So it's difficult for me to determine how many animals I killed.
Was there ever a time during these hunts that you felt something for the animals when they were being hunted? Or was it always just a business without any thought for the animals?
When you shoot them, killing some animals was harder than others. When I kill a bonobo, I can't approach because the other bonobos won't leave the body. Everything they did around the one that's dead, that's what hurt me a bit. But I didn't have a choice because I was in crisis at home.
What did you do with the primate babies after you killed the mothers and the rest of the group?
If I killed the big female bonobo, I would take the baby and either sell it or take it home to stay with my children, or we would eat it too, eventually if we had nothing to eat. The children liked to play with them, but when I was in a crisis and didn't have any money, if I saw someone passing by who would give me money, I would take away from the children and give it to the buyer.
And who were buying the baby chimpanzees and bonobos and other baby primates?
There were always traders or people who would come to the village to pick up the bushmeat or the live babies. One day, I had a baby chimpanzee in a small bag, and I decided to take it to Lodya to sell. But the authorities were doing patrols, and they found the baby and arrested me.
Do you think that there is as much wildlife today as there was when you first started with the hunting?
As the years went by, to find the animals in the forest, it began to change gradually. And today, it's not so easy to find the animals as before. The weapons we used came from friends from Equator and Chopo province, who brought them to us. They were automatic weapons like AK-47.
I understand you no longer poach or traffic wildlife, but why did you stop?
I did it for a certain period, but I started getting stopped multiple times and ended up in prison. Then I realized that I was losing every time I got caught. So I decided to quit because my age didn't allow me to continue this work and stay in the forest.
Do you have children of your own who are into wildlife trafficking?
I made the decision for my children not to let them hunt because I myself suffered a lot from it, and I don't want my children to go down that path.
If you could say anything to the people who are involved in illegal wildlife trafficking today, what would you say to them?
When I see a young person wanting to do what I did, I don't spend much time with them. Every month I go home to always keep an eye on my boys so they don't do it. Especially now if I stay here long, we're in crisis at home. I'm not employed, my wife is not employed, we don't have money. As I have boys who are already 18 years old, they might want to go hunting. So given that I know what I went through myself, and if I get caught, I won't be able to survive next time. If I get caught today, I wouldn't survive in prison. Before, the laws were not too harsh. But today at my age, if I see my child being arrested because of poaching, they would spend a lot of time in prison, and if you don't have luck, you'll die.
What do you think about the conservation work we're involved in, as these are some of the same species you were trafficking? Do you think it's just a waste of time?
I've never seen anyone do what you do, and it's brought me joy, because I've seen the animals have a bond with you. But it also hurts me deeply, because I remember how I hunted these animals, and I didn't know that they were so much like us, humans.
What last words would you like to share with the people listening to this?
I thank you because I see that you are doing great work. And what I can ask of you is to make me a messenger. Even in a church, him who confesses his sins is forgiven, and does he not become a pastor? Does he not become a diakon, a servant? I would like a photo together with me. Give me this photo, I will go show it to others. Look, I am in the picture and I will share your message, and it will touch people's hearts, and people will no longer do poaching. Just like I make the decision not to do it anymore, and me and my family. And so, I want the others to understand not to do it. Thank you very much. I am leaving with a strong message. But one day, do not forget to come where I live, so you can share the messages and listen to the testimonies of the people who will talk about me. Because I made the decision not to hide anymore. Everyone knows that I am not poaching anymore, and I have to now become a messenger to preach to others. Thank you.